Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and welcome back to Deacon Walk Deacon Walk 2023. We are in Libra 2 as of today. I think it's today, the 22nd. That's the 4th. Hold on. Let me go back. Starting October 2nd, which is today, or the 3rd, could be tomorrow, ending the 11th. So I decided to get a jump on things. Now, Marlena Teresa hasn't done hers video yet, but she will. So, and I have a cat sitting right here. So I apologize. He's left me literally the corner of my table. I actually had to shove him over because he laid down on the cards. But yeah, he meowed at me and then kind of hissed, and now he's sitting where he's sitting. So, anyway, if you're just tuning into my channel, I always pull 3 cards from this specific deck to show you the deacon of the newest deacon. And then I show you the 3 cards of what they would be in my Journey of the Sacred Bee. Did you see that? Weird. My Journey of the Sacred Bee, because it's more Thoth based and I like it. I love that deck, so I show you guys the cards in that. And then from there, I usually read the book, and I'm going to read the book, but there's a little bit different things in here I'm going to go over with you guys today. So, and it's late. I was doing some other things and lost track of time. So for Libra Decan 2, which is a fire sign. Is it a fire sign? Sorry, air sign. We are in the swords. That's why. Air. The card is the 3 of Swords. And everybody's like, oh my God, I can't stand this card and blah, 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 blah. Because it always represents heartbreak, right? Well, it goes over a little bit of different things in this book, which is cool. And this is the T. Susan Chang's 36 Secrets that everybody that's doing the Deacon Walk right now is reading. So, and I didn't even pull out he's sitting on it, my Deacon wheel. But it is the 3 of Swords is the card that corresponds to this specific deacon. And it is starting today or tomorrow, ending 11th or 12th. Where's my other phone? Let me see here. I need it light. It is considered the Lord of Sorrow, this card. And it is, the deacon ruler is Saturn in Libra. And as we know from the previous deacon, that Libra is represented by the Justice card in this deck. Let me borrow a little bit. And then Saturn is represented by the World in this deck, in the tarot. So this is what the Deacon 2 Libra looks like. It's really cool. And I actually had a hard time until I started reading this, coalescing the 3 swords with these 2 decks, or these 2 cards. So let me read to you. Actually, let me show you the Journey of the Sacred Bee real quick. I left them out, and I'm just getting in the deck. Okay. So here we have the 3 of Swords, and it's the keyword is, oh my gosh, sorrow. And then we have the World card, which is, there's the Saturn symbol, and then the Justice card, which we saw last time, and there's the Libra symbol. So that's what this looks like in thought form, kind of. So I did want to read a few things to you guys here. And I already covered that it is considered the Lord of Sorrow. Then it skips to the dancer faces the music. And I wanted to read you this little paragraph here because I just thought it was so poignant and beautiful. I'm going to move these back and just have those 3 cards. Okay. So it says, in the Golden Dawn's Book T, it is said that the Queen of Swords is graceful, fond of dancing and balancing. And there's a whole area where here, before I get to that it was talking about the court, basically the 3 of Swords being like the little Queen of Swords. And I was like, why? And then I got to this, and it kind of put it into perspective. As well as being preservingly accurate. She is graceful, fond of dancing and balancing, as well as being preservingly accurate in superficial things. This airy grace is quite certainly a Libra quality, and not only because it is an air sign ruled by Venus. The Libra major justice, as we discussed in the previous chapter, is the dancing partner of the Fool, the structure that shapes elemental air into music. In the shaping of Saturn's unbreakable bonds, in the Orphic hymn to Kronos, a harmonious thread weaves the fabric of circumstance, the dance of our timeline. From a little while, a lifetime maybe, or as long as love shall last, or until your other half becomes the proverbial ball and chain. We hold on to one another in the dance, forming connections of choice, even whilst our cellular chains of telomeres grow shorter. There are times, though, when we cannot or will not follow the script, when the choreography confines us, when Saturn's chains feel like marionette strings. Then we break our pattern. The 3 of Swords shows how wittingly or unwittingly, willingly or not, we then pay the price. So it's kind of like biting off your leg to save yourself, is what I'm getting out of this 3 of Swords. It's getting out of a circumstance that you know is bad for you, and you would rather chew off your own leg than be in this situation. But then afterward, you're like, yeah, now I got to pay the price for this freedom. And I just found that interesting. And just the way she worded all that was very beautiful to me. And then it says, the prudence to apply justice. The light of small things, 8 of Pentacles, Virgo 1, we discussed the 4 cardinal virtues: temperance, fortitude, justice, prudence. Prudence, we suggested, is a virtue separate and different from the others, because it refers to knowing when and how to use them in real life. Virtue in abstract is very different from virtue in the world we have to live in. And while temperance, fortitude, strength, and justice each have their own major arcanum, prudence is the world. So when we look at the 3 of Swords, associated majors, the world, and justice, we are in a sense looking at prudence and justice, i.e. knowing how to apply justice in real life. The most famous example of this is probably the one used to illustrate Solomon's wisdom. 2 women came to Solomon, each claiming to be the mother of the same baby. It would be exactly fair, Solomon declared, to divide the baby in half. On hearing this, the baby's true mother cried out that she would rather see the baby given to the false mother than harmed in any way. Thus Solomon recognized the true mother and gave the baby to her, an example of theoretical justice giving way to real-life justice. And also, one has to say, an example of the 3 of Swords moment when heartbreak reveals the truth. And I was like, whoa, right here. Because it just, yeah, it spoke volumes to me. And then I don't have much in the book I want to read, but I do want to read the takeaway in the little poem. So the takeaway: when you draw the 3 of Swords, there is something you have no choice but to face: hard-won knowledge, irreversible realizations, the thing you can't unknow. It might be the recognition that the relationship is over, On the other hand, it actually might be the recognition that the relationship is the only one and you are prepared to forsake all others. It could be coming to terms with loss. It could be making a promise. It could just be rain, which is an expression of air becoming so saturated with humidity it can no longer contain it. Whichever the manifestation, it will be invested with a dark grandeur. It could be sorrow, but it could also be solemnity, as in solemn vows. When you feel the pangs of Saturn, the weight of Bina, it may help to think of it in the very same way you think of rain. Gloomy for sure, and terrible for parades, but also the very water of life for everything that sustains us. And I was like, whoa. So the Three of Swords is like this. It's a pain you have to go through to endure to grow, is the way I'm looking at it. And I just find that interesting because it also cuts through the bullcrap, right? And justice wins out in the world. And I just found that interesting. So the poem says, Now let no charitable hope by Eleanor Wiley. Now let no charitable hope confuse my mind with images of eagle and of antelope. I am by nature none of these. I was being human, born alone. I am being woman, hard beset. I live by squeezing from a stone what little nourishment I get. In mask, outrageous and austere, the years go by in single file. But none has merited my fear, and none has quite escaped my smile. So I just thought that these poems seem to be quite fitting for each decan that she's done on her book here. So I did want to show you another, like my favorite. It's from the Unfolding Path Tarot. It is my favorite Three of Swords right here. She's clearly heartbroken, devastated, but the Three of Swords is just a shirt she's wearing. So there could be, it almost speaks to, if you just remove that mindset, the heartbreak goes away. And then I just love this World card also from this deck. And then I want to go over a little bit of stuff with you. So my very first deck that I learned tarot on, and I'm going to take all of these away, was the Tarot Illuminati. And I'm going to show it to you here. Here's the book. Here's the deck. And I freaking adore this deck. Adore it. So hard. I love it. It is the pivotal turning point for me in tarot. And the card that did that was the Three of Swords. So I spent so much time watching videos. I'm a Virgo. I dive deeply into things when I'm into them. Deeply. And I was like reading tarot, but at the same time I was like, okay, I'm not getting this right, because I would look at a card and be like, okay, but I feel this way. And then I would look up what that card meant, and it was totally different. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this right. And I was getting frustrated because I wasn't getting exactly what I would get in the book. Then I got this deck. And I was playing around with it one day. I was like, when I draw some cards. This card fell out multiple times. And the last time I pulled it out, I left it out. And I was really frustrated because I'm like, I'm never going to learn tarot. Never going to learn tarot. This is ridiculous. And I pulled this card out, and I literally heard this inner voice say, what do you see? What do you see in this card? And I went through this whole thing, and I'm like, well, I see lightning. I see the water. I mean, I saw this, but it was like this part had just faded away, and I saw this huge storm and this huge waves. And something inside of me changed in that moment. And I heard a voice say, toss the book. For, despite the fact that the book is stunning and it's beautiful and it's written by Kim Huggins, I heard her inner voice say, you know what, toss the book. Toss what you know of this card. What do you feel in this moment? And I saw the storm. I saw the waves. I saw this huge effect on not just the Three of Swords, but the world and behind the thing, which is funny because the world is tied to this card in this Decan. And which I didn't put two and two together until today. But this was 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago now, that I'm looking at this card. I'm like, I'm never going to learn tarot. This is ridiculous. And I'm like, all I see is a storm in the background, and I see the waves crashing against the shore. And I literally heard a voice say, the storm will pass. Your rainbow is coming. And I'm like, what? And it put a whole new spin on this card for me. And I'm like, what is happening? From that moment on, I chose to read without the books. And it completely changed the trajectory because I was getting ready to give up on reading tarot. It completely changed the trajectory of how I read tarot. And I even wrote a little story here, and I'm going to read it to you guys real quick. If this will come up, I think I saved it over here in the images. Oh my gosh, where's it at? Okay, hold on. Okay, so I wrote this 12/6/2019. We cannot know the true compassion without first having our heart shattered and torn. And I was going to read that part in the book that T. Susan Chang did, but I just wanted to read you the parts I read. But there's more nuance in how she read it, how she wrote it. But it's almost like you can't know heartbreak. You can't know the rainbow is coming without the heartbreak, right? So that's kind of where I went here. It says, we cannot know true compassion without first having our hearts shattered and torn. I pulled a card from the Illuminati deck, the card on the right, and realized I was more drawn to the storm going on in the background and the waves beating itself upon the shoreline, the lightning striking in the distance, than I was the obvious bloody heart with three swords sticking out of it. Storms I get, storms I understand. I have weathered enough of them to last me a lifetime. I was curious to see if my radiant Rider-Waite, Three of Swords, had the same background. The card on the left. You see, I've had this deck much longer, and until now never realized. While yes, there is still the same heart with three swords sticking out of it, there is in fact a storm going on, raging in the background. Not as turbulent as the one in this scene, mind you, but as you can see, there are the dark clouds and the ever so subtle hint at rain. I tried to hold myself back from looking at the Illuminati book to see the definition. I mean, we are supposed to be trying to rely on our intuition here, right? Yet, after several minutes of looking at the cards, I couldn't figure it out. I mean, all I could see was the raging storm. So I gave up and read the description. It was hauntingly beautiful. After reading it and wiping the tears from my eyes to study the card again, I realized the storm was part of it. Sometimes you have to go through the storm to really appreciate the rainbow that comes after. Your heart can feel as like it has been ripped from your chest to make you feel as though you'll never find love again after a failed relationship. Yet much like the rainbow after the storm, it makes you appreciate the good one that comes along. Yet this card, no matter what deck, represents storms, shattered hearts, and broken promises. But to me, it will always represent the beauty and purity that always follows the storm. Again, we cannot know the compassion true compassion without first having our hearts shattered and torn. We cannot know love without knowing what it feels like when we're not. We cannot appreciate the rainbow without the storm. So the next time you feel as if your heart can't take anymore, the next time you feel as if your world is raging out of control, just remember your rainbow is coming. And I thought that was cute. I found that today. And I'm like, wow. And the fact that it said, when you feel like your world is out of control, and then the world is tied to this card, that just put everything. I mean, I know that's a little thing, but it was a big thing in the moment when I read it again. And I was like, wow. But yeah, that is what I drew from this deacon, was this, this yin and yang moment. That's what the Three of Swords represents. You can't have good without evil. You can't have light without day. You can't have the storm without the rainbow coming after. There's always something better coming along behind this. You just have to weather the storm and wait for your rainbow, because it's always going to come. So that is what I got out of this deacon. I'm waiting for Marlena Teresa to do hers, so she can show us the spread, and I can do the spread. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good night. Bye.